The Galactic Accord had long been the gold standard of interstellar governance, a council of species bound by a mutual promise to preserve peace and foster cooperation among the stars. For centuries, it functioned as a symbol of unity, but like any monument built on compromise, its foundation had begun to crack. In the center of the council chamber, Commander Rhaen Vos stood before a sea of alien faces. Representatives from dozens of species filled the tiers of the circular amphitheater, their expressions ranging from curiosity to hostility. The chamber itself was a marvel of engineering, a vast dome that projected a holographic simulation of the galaxy above their heads, stars glittering like scattered diamonds. Vos, the human envoy, was no stranger to the council. She had stood here many times, advocating for humanity's place among the stars. But today was different. Today, she wasn't here to plead. "Let's not waste time pretending we're here for diplomacy," Vos began, her voice cutting through the ambient murmurs. "We're here because you're afraid." The statement landed like a thunderclap. The murmuring ceased, and every gaze turned sharply toward her. A hulking Avari, its translucent exoskeleton refracting the light like a prism, clicked its mandibles in irritation. "Commander Vos," the Avari representative hissed, "your tone is combative. We are not here to debate fears but to address concerns about your species' escalating militarization." Vos met the Avari's gaze without flinching. Escalating militarization? That's rich, coming from a species whose orbital platforms bristle with weapons capable of glassing planets. Humanity's actions are a direct response to years of systemic neglect from this council. A low rumble of discontent rippled through the chamber. The Trulian delegate, a serpentine creature with scales that shimmered like molten gold, uncoiled and spoke in its sibilant tongue. "Your species has always been impulsive. It seems you mistake our deliberations for inaction. Patience is the bedrock of stability." Vos smirked, the expression cold and humorless. "Patience is a luxury afforded by those who aren't under threat." "Tell me, delegate, would your species exercise such restraint if your colonies were being raised by rogue factions, while this council deliberated for decades?" The Trulian recoiled slightly, but before it could respond, a new voice interjected. "Commander Vos," rumbled the chair of the council, a towering Wizenar whose 6 eyes glimmered with an ancient, unearthly wisdom. "We understand humanity's grievances. However retaliatory, actions such as the annihilation of the Drazak outpost go beyond the boundaries of acceptable behavior. Thousands perished, and your explanation remains insufficient." The room fell silent. All eyes were on Vos. She straightened her posture, her presence commanding. The Drazak outpost was harboring a fleet preparing to attack 3 human colonies. We intercepted their communications and acted to prevent another massacre. Had we waited for this council to act, those colonies would have been wiped out. "Proof?" demanded the Karen delegate, a feline humanoid with sleek fur and piercing eyes. Vos raised a device and a hologram sprang to life, displaying intercepted transmissions. The evidence was irrefutable. Schematics, deployment orders, and chilling discussions of the impending assault. The room buzzed with uneasy whispers as the representatives processed the implications. "You see?" Vos said, lowering the device. "This wasn't a crime, it was survival. Humanity has always played by your rules, even when those rules put us at a disadvantage. But now we're drawing a line." The Isenar chair's voice cut through the noise. "And what does that mean, Commander Vos? Are you declaring independence from the Accord?" Vos paused, letting the weight of the question settle. "What I'm saying is this. Humanity will protect itself, with or without your approval. We've tried diplomacy, treaties, and trust, and every time we've been met with inaction, no more." The silence that followed was deafening. Vos scanned the chamber, her gaze unyielding. The delegates shifted uncomfortably, each grappling with the implications of her words. For centuries, the Accord had operated under the assumption that all its members were bound by the same rules. Vos had just shattered that illusion. "We are not your pawns," she continued. "We've seen what happens when species rely too heavily on diplomacy without the strength to back it up. Look around you. How many of your worlds still bear the scars of enemies who exploited your patience?" The Eisenar chair tilted its massive head. And if the Accord were to act against humanity in response to this defiance? Vos's lips twitched into a faint, dangerous smile. Then you'd better be ready to do what we've done for centuries, fight to survive. The tension in the chamber was palpable. Vos had not only challenged the Council's authority, but also forced them to confront an uncomfortable truth. Humanity was no longer the eager, malleable newcomer. They were a force to be reckoned with, a species that had learned the hard way that survival required more than words. As Vos turned to leave, the Eisenar chair's voice stopped her. Commander Vos, you may have made your point, but understand this. The Accord exists to maintain order. If humanity's actions threaten that order, you will find yourselves alone. Vos glanced over her shoulder, her expression unreadable. We've been alone before, and we're still here. She walked out of the chamber, her footsteps echoing in the silence, leaving the Council to grapple with the storm she had unleashed. Humanity's message was clear. They were done waiting, done pleading, and done being underestimated. The tension in the Galactic Accord chamber didn't dissipate after Commander Vos left. It deepened, spreading through the corridors of power like a wildfire. Rumors of humanity's defiance rippled across star systems, whispered in shadowed halls and broadcast in encrypted transmissions. To some, they were the embodiment of rebellion. To others, a warning that the balance of power was shifting. In the sleek confines of her ship, the Resolute, Vos stood before a tactical display, its holographic glow painting her face in cold light. Her crew, a blend of Earth's finest engineers, strategists, and soldiers, watched in silence as she reviewed the latest intelligence. The Council's deliberation had ended, but its consequences were just beginning. Commander, Lieutenant Elra said, her voice tight. New reports from the frontier. The Accord's fleet has been mobilized. 3 battle groups deployed near our colonies in the Theta Verge. Officially, they're conducting stabilization exercises. Vos's jaw tightened. And unofficially? Positioning for intimidation, Elra replied. Or worse. Vos tapped the display, bringing up the fleet's movements. Each glowing icon represented a warship bristling with advanced weaponry. The Council wasn't ready to attack outright, not yet. They were testing humanity's resolve, probing for weakness. Send word to the Verge colonies, Vos ordered. Evacuation drills and defensive measures. I want every civilian ready to move at a moment's notice. Elra hesitated. Commander, if we do that, it could escalate tensions. Vos turned to her, eyes hard. And if we don't, those colonies could be wiped out while the Council debates whether our lives are worth protecting. I won't risk another tragedy. The room fell silent, the weight of her words sinking in. Humanity's colonies had learned the cost of underestimating danger. Vos wasn't about to let history repeat itself.